26-01, granting to Oklahoma Gas and Electric Company a franchise for installation, operation, and maintenance of electrical distribution system in the town of Tryon, installing electricity herein for a term of 25 years.
You have the floor.
Appreciate you guys putting this on the agenda tonight. I passed out to your earlier updated version of the ordinance. I found a typo in it from the last one that I had, so I went back and corrected those. I had the wrong town in one of them. So I went back and corrected that. Basically, this first ordinance is the ordinance that would put in place the franchise agreement. Again, it's non-exclusive. Rights to your easements for us to offer electric service, and also it gives us the rights to access the easements so that we can maintain our system and do repairs, particularly after storms. It gives you, there's a 3% franchise agreement fee that's in there, and then we give, I think it's half 1% of the total amount of electric that is sold in the community back to you.
I thought it said 3%.
It's 3% fee. Yeah, you get that, but then you also get a half of 1% of free electric from the total amount that's sold to be used for city services. So that's basically what that ordinance does, and it sets up for it to be sent to a vote of the people. We're required by the Constitution to every 25 years to bring these back up. I'd be happy to answer any questions about it.
So, I had a couple questions.
Sure.
And it was also, it took me a minute, I'm assuming you're the only electrical company that's within town limits. So.
Yes.
No.
CRC
CRC handles the very.
Yeah, but in town limits, so there's no.
It isn't the northern part of in-town limits. CRC also.
So Walnut North. Yes.
So if we sign this contract, are we?
Well, CRC will not go past Walnut. Like, that's the end of their service area.
Okay, but it's not in
No.
conflict.
No,
Okay.
no. In fact, we've got some communities where you got different utility companies there. Our lines basically are drawn by the legislature. Our service territories are given to us by the legislature, so we're just required by the Constitution and always sent it to a vote of the people for renewal.
But yet there's no exclusivity clause to where if somebody across the street wants to switch, they're welcome to.
Actually, no, state law prohibits that.
Okay.
You have to do it within the service territory.
Okay.
There is an exception to that. If loads are greater than 1 megawatt, then they can be put out for competitive bid.
Do not measure my house.
So,
Well, keep from a monopoly. That's kind of how I was studying. Like,
yeah, so basically what happens is because the cost of putting in an electric system is so costly, 25 years is what it takes for you to recoup the cost of maintaining those systems and things. So that's why this is set up the way it is.
okay. I was just curious if we owe any unpaid. That was something that was in here.
I am unaware of any, and trust me, the billing department lets me know when someone hasn't paid. So
It was something that I thought we just, I'm assuming we are. But
yeah, I believe you're caught up.
Okay.
I don't have anything from billing saying that you're
Yeah,
behind.
that wouldn't have anything to do with that contract. That's over at Walnut. That's not a billing.
So it was saying here on section 7, the 3%, if we owe any money.
Yeah, if you owed any money at the end of the year when we got ready to do that, they would deduct that. But
first. I just wanted to make sure we weren't.
no, you're not that I'm aware of. You're not in arrears at all.
So since you billed the customers for the service, what would the town owe for?
As far as,
You said that if we owe any money by the end of the
well,
year.
for your electric use.
So just our base.
Yeah,
rate.
basically, yeah.
And then I assume, something happened that was our fault, but nothing.
Well, and sometimes, like depending on how it's. I had one community a couple of months ago sent their checks in by mail. It was for November. It didn't get to OG&E till the end of January. So it was a real mess for everybody trying to figure out what goes on. So, sometimes I'll get a message from billing saying, "Hey, we haven't received," but you put it in the mail. It just haven't. The U.S. Postal Service just hasn't delivered it. So we give grace to our municipalities as we work with them on those things because there are a lot of things that are going on in between.
So with this resolution for the special meeting, are we allowed to have anything else to it, or is it just for this proposition only? For this resolution 2026-001?
Well, we're still in
Yeah, so we're still in the
We're still on
ordinance.
number 6.
Oh, sorry.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. All right.
Sorry. And our franchise agreements are standard across the board, across the state. Everybody has the same agreement with us.
Anybody got any questions?
Not about the ordinance.
Yeah.
I do have a question on the ordinance. Usually when we change an ordinance, I know this is to like Jeannie, like when we change an ordinance, and you guys sign off on it, and we go with it, we have to post it. Like how does that, is that something that like you guys will post? or
So,
how do we need to
so
do
what
that?
I will do, if you guys approve this tonight, I will take care of having everything printed because we're required by law for ordinances to be printed within, I believe, 30 days of their passage. We're going to be printed in the general newspaper circulation. And I'll do that tomorrow. If it's
Okay.
approved, I will send it to the newspaper and
Okay.
pay for all those things.
Okay.
That's the other thing. So we pay for all the costs of the election.
That's what I was
Still
asking,
have
if we were able
yeah.
to put, if there, because there were some other issues that we've been talking about having a special election with, so I didn't know if we'd be able to add those to that election as well, or if it's just for your guys' proposal.
Well, I don't think it affects our costs because we're actually putting this on the runoff election for August 25th. And so there's going to be a state election anyhow that time. Now if it starts going over ballot, the number of printed ballots and what they would normally do, there'd probably be a cost, so it just depends. And we won't really know that until the election board tells us. But if it fits on the same page as ours, we're on the same page.
So we need to make a motion to accept the resolution and to publish the
Well,
ordinance.
Yeah.
accept the ordinance and then they publish it, so we don't have to publish it.
Okay.
So, I'm
Alright.
confused though, so if we're accepting the ordinance now, what do we need to have an election for?
So, because while the council has to adopt an ordinance, and that ordinance, in order to take effect, has to be approved by the voters.
Right, so at this point, aren't we just moving to present the ordinance to the voters?
Now,
for the
you're
special election?
you're adopting it, but it won't take effect until the voters accept it.
Okay.
That'd be part of the motion.
You adopt the ordinance.
I don't know
I
the
move,
wording.
I move that we accept ordinance number 2026-01 with Oklahoma Gas and Electric pending public election.
I know Jeannie was responsible for publishing.
Yeah, we would do that anyhow.
Correct.
All right, Heather seconds.
James, yes.
Nathan, yes.
Richard, yes. Number 7, consideration possible action adopting resolution 2026-001, calling and holding an election in the town of Tryon for purpose of granting a franchise to Oklahoma Gas and Electric Company for the installation, operation, and maintenance of electrical distribution system and selling electricity therein for a term of 25 years.
I move that we call a special election for resolution 2026-001 for the franchise rights of Oklahoma Gas and Electric Company.
James, second.
Heather, yes.
Nathan, yes.
Richard, yes. Item number 8, consideration, discussion, and action on and
Okay.
code the loan paperwork, invoices, change forms, and final payment.
Before we move on, is there anything else that you need from us?
Do we need to sign?
Yeah, I'll need to
Say yes.
get it signed and stamped before I leave, and that way I'll take care of everything tomorrow.
I notice we have to say yes or on this one, who all voted yes and all that.
Yeah.
I think that might be what he's filling out.
Yeah, all I'm doing is filling this out, so.
Okay, you're saying you're doing.
Yeah, so I'll get her to sign and stamp, and that way I can take it all to the election board. I'll take care of everything on the election and all those things.
Okay, I just make sure we didn't have to.
I just give you all the documents so you have them, and then I will bring back, when the election's all over, I'll bring back copies of everything, the the notices that have been published, all these documents, the election results, they'll all be in a book for you to have.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Did you read that? Did you read them again? Okay. This is the, as far as the REAP has been picked up. Asher has it. I gave you guys the construction timeline for the build out on the project that you sent the other day. I haven't been able to look through it here today, but that's a scheduling of what he predicts could go. He said that he's going to get everybody on the same page. He told me that like a week and a half ago. Assuming that he hasn't contacted them yet. But that's what he told me a week and a half ago. The co-ed portion of the loan, I'm waiting on an itemized invoice from Asher on the remaining balance is due, on where that is going to be put to, and then I can present that to REAP for co-ed. And then this week, co-ed, there's not going to be, David Hinkle's not going to be there. She has to talk to him when he comes back, and then they can put that amount, once it's approved, onto our loan paperwork. So that's held up because of that. So as soon as I get the itemized invoice for the remaining amount, we can present that to co-ed, get the remaining balance, get to us, and then we'll have to have a meeting with Asher, or strongly suggested that we have a meeting with Asher and go through everything that's left, make sure everything's checked off before the final payment is given.
In person,
Yeah.
just special meeting just for that, yeah.
As of right now, all the invoices with Asher has been taken care of and is paid. The last change form, or the change form that's open right now, is a change form for the decking. This is the current one. It's went from 4,000 to 5,650, I think it was.
56,000?
No, it's 4,000 to 5,650, like 5,650. Yeah. To deck. He said that, and I got it on text message as well. He said that that was his bad because I asked him for updated ones as we went, and it stayed at 4,000 until just currently. And he said that it was his mistake that he didn't know that we wanted above the offices, like where we're going to deck it in, the flooring done. He thought we just wanted it built up to the ceiling.
Why
I
don't we
know.
call it a
Until
town?
that's,
Because
We said
I
it
looked
right
right at
there.
him and said, I want the flooring done.
yes,
Why else would you call it a deck?
Yeah.
yeah. And he
Not,
knew,
it's not a wall.
he knew that we were going to use above the offices for storage.
Yes.
He even talked about having like the attic stairs pulled down in the utility office. So that it's not out in the open, we don't have to worry about a ladder, there's not more issues or whatever. And that people's not gonna be in that office that often. So I had told him like that might be a problem, but I will still present it to him. Cause there's also a couple other things that I'm still waiting for documentation back, showing that we talked about it. And he's telling us now that it wasn't talked about.
Very much
It
was.
was.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I told him.
I'm the one that brought it up.
Yeah, we talked about it several
We
times.
can go back,
Yeah, I
let's
can-
go to the tape.
Yeah, I can.
I mean,
We talked about it
research
several times
Yeah.
at several meetings.
And just send the URL for the YouTube for the meeting and a timestamp.
Yeah. But he said that he did not realize that you guys wanted the flooring on the little built-in done. And I was like, we
Okay.
talked about that
If
several times.
if I would have said the floor done, I would have said, hey, can you build a wall there? But I said, can you build a wall and close it and put flooring in there?
So that we can
so
use
we
it for
can
storage. Yeah. And then that's when the ladder came into play.
Yeah.
Because
And
why
that's
would
when
we need
we
a
were talking
ladder?
about the
If we're
water
gonna
fountain
seal it
and whether or
off.
not there'd be room there.
Yeah. So I asked him for another updated one. That's the one he sent.
And the other question I have is that if he's been paid for everything up to including drywall installation, why hasn't it been done?
When did we pay you for that?
On Friday, she came and picked it up.
No, that would probably be why then. When does he plan on starting week 1?
Yeah, next month?
I was
2
told
months?
2 weeks ago that he
Well, they said we
got
were
hold
gonna
of
be
his
in
guys.
October, he didn't say a what year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was told 2 weeks ago that he had already contacted his guys. We thought they were even working because there's people
Mhm.
like
I
over
think
there
I was there.
working. Yeah, we thought that he had already talked to him, and he said he's not contacted anybody. But like I said, I was talking to Heather as well. I'm pulling everything, all of this stuff is in a binder, but there's just the recent stuff that I have to pull out together, and then the new stuff that he said we never talked about that I know that we did.
Can you
that
push
he
back
told
on
me.
this and ask him to actually fill in like an estimated date
Yep.
instead
Yep.
of just week 1 and 2?
Yep.
Yeah, start date for week 1, so
Actual
that the
dates.
rest falls in place.
Yeah, and I mean, we understand that it's estimated and
Yeah.
that things happen in construction, but,
Yes.
Well, then
Well,
I'll,
weather happens in construction.
well, there's a
But
lot
this-
of things that
but
happen in
this is-
construction.
And this is inside as well.
Inside.
Inside.
Yeah, but
So
yeah.
it don't affect the weather.
I mean, walking drywall in the rain, but
Yeah.
that, yeah,
They
you know
could.
when. I'll double check and research, check the minutes, and I'll get you guys a timestamp on that, so we
Okay.
can hear what he says, and it's also transcript, so.
Yes.
Yep.
But like I said, there's a couple other things I'm waiting to hear, pull stuff from emails and phone calls I've made. I wasn't here yesterday, so I didn't get to those. But there's some other things that I want to pull out too that he's claiming that we didn't talk about, that we did.
What's that?
Like the way we want the kitchen built, because we have a T-set grant. I had to ask for another extension, because the T-set money isn't spent yet, because of the measurements and the type of stove and stuff or whatever. He said that we never talked about having a stove in the kitchen.
How many times do we
I think
have
we
to
did that
discuss the
physically.
roll-up
Several
window
times.
and?
Well, even with, between me and
window
him, we've
and
talked about it
sidewalk,
before.
so.
So I'm waiting to pull all that stuff together again. So I strongly suggest that we do have a in-person conversation with them.
Are they gonna be responsible for the gravel, in front of the building, the parking lot? Or cause I don't see them.
That would be on us as of right now, but
Okay.
it's been talked about before where we were supposed to have a sidewalk.
What it's
And then
been
he
talked
claimed that
about
we didn't talk
before
about a
was
sidewalk.
that the original plan was he had, I think it was $6,700,
68?
$6,800 for his site prep. We spent $20,000 doing the site prep for him.
Okay.
Or $17,000 for
Yes,
the
yeah.
dead farm.
Yeah.
And I brought it up to him, that he didn't have to send any site prep. Is that gonna be at the final thing as well?
Yeah.
I've got $7,000 to do that with.
And then our HVAC, we got that brand new system over to Old Town Hall.
Yeah.
We had asked if he would switch it over, he's like, yeah, we'll have this guy come look at it, we might have to like pull for a
Right.
concrete floor on the east side of the building. And, now he's saying that he doesn't think that we can use it, it's like a year old. We used it for not even a year before we moved over here. He said that we may not be able to use it, and I'm like, well, if we do, the amount that he has for HVAC, would that go down in invoices, and it would stay the same? And I don't understand how it would stay the same if we already have a unit, if we're able to use
Who
it.
installed that?
Breeden.
So why don't we just ask Breeden what he'd charge us to
Move
move
it.
that back to here?
Or,
And then tell him, well, we
We're
got
using
someone
it.
else doing it.
or we could just ask him to inspect it and see if it is still good, and if it is still good, be like, hey.
Because he'll be able to tell you that that unit will be able to move over
Yeah.
here.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So like I said, there's questions that needs to be asked or stuff needs brought up and clarified. I'll put this again on the.
Is there any chance he could be here
I can ask
on
him.
May?
And when you ask him, tell him to start getting some of the
Make that-
stuff he's supposed to have had done already that he's paid for. 'Cause
Yeah.
before he comes in, not wait until after the meeting.
Yeah.
Because he's just gonna put it off another 2 or 3 weeks till we have a meeting.
And we want a date, start date.
Yeah, May 5th is the next regular scheduled meeting, so May the 4th is my anniversary, so.
And Asher there,
And what?
and Tab Asher there.
I don't know what that is.
Actually,
Like Asher
I had
Construction,
Asher,
it's a
yeah.
contractor.
I've asked her there.
Oh, have
Yeah.
Asher that day, okay. I thought you were calling it Asher Day, and I'm like, I don't know.
I'm gonna go to Dollar Tree and
That's
give
new.
everybody one of those cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wrong.
Right.
Sorry, what?
Well, see, that way you can use them, you can talk, and then you can turn it
Yeah.
sideways like one of the old tent.
there's the upgrade.
So completion shall occur no more than 90 days from the time of Tryon obtaining and providing Asher Construction with a proof of funds letter for the remaining balance of $0.
Could you send a copy of that change order to Stefan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let him read over it and see what he thinks.
And if I can't take a picture of it, is it okay if I take a picture of it and print it, or do you want to
For
email
what?
it to me? That, just so I can read over it more?
What is that? I don't know.
That's
The
the
change
actual.
order.
The change order.
The change
Yeah, I can forward it to you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You have a lot more experience with that stuff than I do,
Well,
so.
there's a lot of writing in there, so I'm not gonna sit here and let y'all watch me read, and then I'll really struggle.
The only thing that bothers me on here, it says the time for the completions to be determined.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also wants.
And he's
to-
already got a
wants to
termination
take
date on the
entire
contract
attack.
3 months ago, 4 months
You
ago.
want to what?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Deck the entire attack.
Attack, yeah.
Oh, is there a spell typo in it? Oh, very nice. I missed that one.
I didn't even know we had an attack.
It brings that price, you know, right?
Which one?
This project.
Probably October, November last
October,
year.
November last year,
But
but
last year, why wasn't it done?
the money didn't get
Yeah,
in
the
time, the
funding.
grant
Yeah, the
expired. And
Well,
he
the
wouldn't bill
REAP
until grant was good again.
Yeah, well, it's the REAP was cut down. We were supposed to get 100,000 and got 65 and,
So
yeah.
we had to wait more. for it.
Yeah.
But even if they could have done some of the
Yeah.
stuff that's on here.
Yeah, there's other ways to still keep going forward without it just coming to the halt.
Well, we know not to do certain things if we ever get money to build another building.
He's probably right on that.
Are we just at no action then to this point?
I would
Or
say
make a
if,
motion.
if you folks are okay with that, amount, that we could do an approval on it subject to Stefan approving it. If he doesn't approve it, then we just don't send it to him.
Did you say that we have that he had a completion date in the contract?
Yeah, but part of, on the change forms, he'll correct the completion date because of the change forms. or
Time
whatever.
lapse.
Yeah.
Do we have any kind of a penalty clause for failure to deliver
I
on
believe
time?
so.
Okay.
I don't remember
I
reading
can't
all of it.
remember the exact amount that was talked about. There's been a while since.
He's
I've
supposed to have
checked.
been bonded too, I don't know if he did or not, I don't know.
I
Rocky
think he
did
said
it.
that, I think he sent that to us.
I think he did, yeah, but Rocky was in charge of it when that was all done.
So we need to decide now. So this is the total?
Yeah, it was in total.
Two?
Yeah, that's a little bit higher than the, what is the total amount that we got for the REAP grant? You know, like
We
This
don't.
time around? or-
total that we're estimating, that we're,
365.
and we're like 30 grand more now? That's it, right? Did that say 395, Heather?
395.
396.
Or six.
Six.
Which we knew when we applied for that we'd have to be a little bit, like a little bit over, that's what the building fund is for. And that's where like, and that's including the change forms and stuff, that's what that we've already paid and
Like
taken care
those-
of.
The water fountain and stuff like that we had.
Yeah, I know, I just wanna make.
And then the piers that we had to do, that the inspector can see.
I'd like to see more of it, but I kind of feel like
I don't think we should have a conversation with them before we
Well-
agree to anything.
I don't like that, yeah.
Like
And
I
I'd
said-
like to see more of the documentation out on the table.
Me, I'm on the decking. You know, we agreed on the price, and then now he's changing the price, and
Mhm.
it was clearly discussed in the meeting.
And he
what
took
needed to be done.
responsibility, saying
Yeah.
that that is on him. Well, then that
Then it
should
should
be
be
on
on
him.
Yeah,
It should be at the 4,000 that he quoted us for,
yeah.
the first 4 times.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have said,
Send me get a copy.
if I was gonna build a wall, I said, build a wall.
And then
Yeah.
talked about the ceiling underneath it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the floor.
How are we supposed to store stuff if it's not there?
Yeah.
Why would we need stairs?
Yeah.
Or a ladder?
Leading up to a wall.
Why would he have made a cutout up there if he didn't intend for people to be able to come back and forth onto it?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna step from beam to beam, don't you know?
Well,
Supposed to be,
But
take pieces.
Vicki explained at one time it was supposed to be like a movable gate, so you could put stuff up there and then close it back up for safety.
So that's my deal. I'm not gonna approve it because,
Yeah, I don't-
it's not what we agreed to on the deck.
at least
Well,
not
we
until
just
we
need
have a
to-
chance to talk to him.
yeah,
Until there's more work done. I think, when they're
negotiate.
done.
And I think we should talk to him instead of sending you to be the middleman.
Agreed. Yeah, in the
Motion been made. Table it for right now.
Table.
We're gonna-
And what,
Table.
Number 9, consideration action.
We need a motion to do what?
I make a motion to table.
I'll
10
second.
seconds?
Nathan, yes.
What was the second?
Heather, yes.
Jenna, yes.
Everybody's jumping all over that.
Yes, get over that.
Okay. Consideration, discussion, action on Payne County bank accounts.
I'm working on, I'm in communication with Jordan to get all the names on all of our accounts and then go from there, so that might be on the next agenda.
Remove the old names and.
Yeah, just update it.
Well, and I've got a copy, I've got 2 copies. And I just wanna make sure that there's 10 accounts, and I don't think anyone of the board members is on the CD. Have we talked about that? Or-
I don't know, cause I didn't realize there was a studio other than police department.
That's the.
Oh, I talked to Jordan, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I talked to him about all that. She said she was confused after you guys' conversation, there was a lot
Yeah.
going on that she wasn't understanding.
Who's Cassandra Wilson?
She was utility clerk.
Utility clerk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Like
So I
4
think
years
we
ago.
need-
right before me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to make sure we're making,
First time.
Yeah.
when we're making a motion to add, that we're making a motion to remove.
And we don't need a motion to remove, we don't need that, but
I think we
But I
should
think we
make
need
a
to
policy of.
Yeah, that's pretty black and white bad.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of names on here that need to be.
Removed.
Yeah. Well, and I guess I'm a little confused too at why it was, we just have the 9, I believe this is correct, 8 checking and 1 savings. That's correct. And so we only got added to 9 accounts instead of 10. So I'm just a little confused at why I had kinda.
well, that would be a big issue, because when the motion is made to be added to all town accounts, until recently, because of the bank changing policy for the auditor,
Yeah.
that's to all town accounts, so when I
But
turned that in, they
This
should be
email
added.
from you does not show the CD.
Well, that's
This
a
was from
current,
me.
that is a current email, that's not one from the past.
And that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, me and Jim being added, the CD's not on here, but this is a list of the
Well,
accounts.
the USDA one, the police auxiliary one that's on there, that is a CD account. The other account, I didn't even realize that we had it. I didn't realize that we had
Well,
2 CDs.
This is the old police auxiliary account, it's not, the CD is another account.
Well,
Like-
that's just what Jordan told me, so that, I've already sent her a letter and the documentation.
Well, she
and stuff
agreed
for
that
it.
you're missing the CD on this list,
I-
so we're gonna have to figure out, I mean, when we say all accounts, and there's a CD that none of the board members are on, it's kind of not.
I don't even think I'm on that account because I don't even know nothing about it. Brad
Well,
Smith set that up.
I wouldn't be able to know because I don't have access. But that's kind of what I would like to investigate, is who's on this account now, before we decide to just delete people, because none of us have access to seeing what's going on. That's just a little bit awkward for my.
Can we also do the investigation too and see who has access to view the accounts, who has access to withdraw the
Online.
accounts, transfer?
Everybody should have read-only access to that, and then the board members that's on there that's like sign checks, they can like sign the checks from my understanding. But I've sent documentation to Jordan today to clean up those accounts and to let us know, but I'm waiting until I get the list from every account and see who's on every account before we do anything else.
I just think it's a huge breach for
So-
security.
So nobody has the ability to walk to the bank
Logins.
and like withdraw money if we need something for petty cash or a
But
contractor?
without minutes, no.
Okay,
We can't without minutes.
good.
Well, then, we.
So then who has access to do it with minutes?
A board member that's on the account and any of the employees that's on it.
Do we have the ability to designate some people as view only?
Well, when you.
Because like me as a regular board member, I don't know why I would need to have access to take anything to the bank to get money out, you know?
None of us really should be able to do that. That's why they require minutes.
Okay.
Like, and everybody else is put on there, even myself and John, is just view only.
Okay.
Because we can't change anything online either.
Can't transfer money
No.
between it or anything?
I can transfer from one account to another,
Okay.
just because of like the building fund or whatever, how they have that set up. But other than that, I can't physically take it out.
Who else has transfer power? Is it just you?
John probably could, like us clerks or whatever, and you guys probably actually can transfer over too, but we just can't take anything out, like physically out.
I would be more comfortable if the employees were able to, and maybe the mayor, not having everybody have access to move money around and whatnot, just because of some of the history of the town and all of that
That
stuff.
might be, needs to
Mayor,
be a
or
policy. that
mayor
we-
and vice mayor.
Sure, you know, but just not a blanket, you know.
That might have to be a policy, like the
Yeah.
internal policy to make.
But first we need to investigate, find out
So-
who has access to what and
Yeah, well, this
all that first.
is obviously not legal, and that's something that I couldn't request. We would have to request it, and Brittney would
Mhm.
turn it in to get
Yep.
it on their letterhead.
Yep,
Do-
exactly.
And then if we do have just the 10 accounts, but.
Right.
Kind of along the same lines of why from day one I said, as far as signing on any financials,
Well,
I
someone
didn't
has
want
to sign
anything
a
to
check.
do it.
We gotta
Well,
pay our bills, we gotta have a couple
right,
people that.
but I said, as far as
Yeah.
signing out anything, it needed to be the
Yeah,
responsibility
for
of
Mayor
the
and
head.
vice mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas not everybody's going, I'm signing this, I'm signing that, I'm signing this, I'm signing that, and everything's going everywhere. It needs to be a
Well,
dedicated
and
trail.
I would like to be able to do online banking to view things if I have a question or if I.
Once you sign at the bank, they should give you sign in. They should set you up to do
So
that.
I
Yeah.
needed to get the EIN number, and I wasn't gonna just ask you for that.
I don't know why you need that, because
You
nobody's
wouldn't
ever,
here.
You
you
wouldn't
don't
have
need
an
an
EIN number because you're not an employee of the
No,
town.
the town EIN
town
number,
number.
Oh,
so that I
I'll call
could,
Jordan and
so I
ask
could
if that
log
doesn't
in
make
access.
sense.
Well, that's, I mean, it's on,
Might be something new they changed.
Yeah.
I know she said that they were having a lot of issues, internally, so they were having to tighten their shoes up too, so.
okay.
But I did also wanna let you know, I did get a copy of that check that you had missed from the, oh, that did not make me
I got you.
my apologies.
Throw like a girl.
Yeah,
I'd be glad of it.
that was the 90 that we,
Oh,
and then I
for the-
was
for the
curious
REIT.
at why that went into the general fund and not the building fund.
Because that is just how REIT did it. They've had different people out there looking on it.
No,
So-
why we deposited it, is it wording on the check?
Because it was wrote to the town of Tryon,
Okay,
so I deposited it to the town of Tryon and then wrote Asher a check out of our account.
so
to
what
come
does
in.
our building funds, what do we call our building fund account?
The building fund is something completely different. The building fund was set up for like if we sold, like when we sold the backhoe, that went into there, the board set
So we
that
didn't
up.
use the building
No,
fund because of
no.
building?
That's for, like, if we have the extra cost from the building, that's what that account was opened. Is that, like, when we sold the backhoe, that can go in there if it's extra cost that the REIT doesn't cover,
Mhm.
that's where we get those costs out of. So it doesn't, we have the money if and when it's
I
needed.
just, it seemed odd that we had, I think you wanna keep that separated, so I figured there may be a
Yep.
reason, but.
I thought you'd
I-
been transferring money back and forth to the building account.
Yeah, we transfer the money from the building account to the general account, like when we have like the water fountain or the change forms or stuff like that. Or when we had to, buy dirt for the pad, that stuff got transferred over and it's documented on the transfer, what those things are. When we have to get gravel or the tin horn or whatever, it came out of those funds.
Okay.
I guess
I
it was
It
to
was set up that
understand
way
the middle.
because they want to have a
action.
separate checking account for just that account.
I guess I was just under the impression, this is my fault for not asking enough questions, that the building fund handled all the money for the new building.
No.
To keep it
No.
separated. I mean, in the future,
For
we should,
accounting stuff.
that should be something that we try to achieve, just to make it easier.
Because we don't have checks, we don't have debit cards or anything for the building fund. That's why they
why
just
they
had
have
to
to
transfer
transfer.
over.
Oh, that I
It's
get,
all,
yeah.
yeah, it's all paper trail and all that stuff, so every time that's been put in there is accounted for.
Once we get past the budget and the audit, I really think we need to take a look and see why do we need 9 different checking accounts, especially if none of those accounts even have checks or debit
Yeah.
cards to them.
Did you see what they
Well,
are
see,
though?
like the park committee
Yeah,
account was set up, because
They
we were
need- they
actually
had
trying
a-
to get the park committee set up.
Yep.
And all the money that we did for fundraisers or donations or anything like that went specifically for that, because they were allocated for one specific thing.
Mhm.
So we can only use that, we couldn't, if we put everything into the general account, we couldn't separate it and make sure that there's paper trails of where each of that money was going to. So that's why they had, for example, the park committee account.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't disagree, I think.
I don't disagree either, I just don't know.
It just doesn't really
Do we
kind of
still-
make sense to have a building fund if,
And those funds were allocated for Thanksgiving meal and the angel tree.
But see, when the
So that's
building,
what I'm gonna-
building is done, there won't be a building fund anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
those-
You know,
agreed,
going to the
but we
building.
haven't really used it.
But that's what I
No,
mean.
we have
Yeah,
used
we-
it.
Well, yeah, they
We
used
have
it,
used
it
it.
just,
Well-
they bought a fountain with it, they bought dirt.
We've got several things with
Yeah.
it.
Bought
Yeah.
several things with it.
Yeah.
But we had, they had to go into the general fund.
Yeah, and just transfer it, because that way you don't have to buy the checks and everything else.
Seeing like the restitution payments, those restitution payments from Cricket, they go into the building fund. They get automatically deposited into the building fund.
And another thing we didn't talk about, the utility savings USDA, did you want to tell them about?
Yeah, that's actually, when I was talking to Jordan, that one actually just needs to be shut down. That's like.
So we don't have to, we're not gonna lose anything
No, that's
by-
in a different,
Good.
yeah.
That's
See,
good. We're
that's what
supposed
I-
to keep a minimum in there, and we're not, I guess.
Yeah, the USDA one, I don't even know why that's open
Yeah.
or why it's even labeled that, because it's probably utility savings. Has nothing to do with USDA. Somebody labeled it that, and nobody knows who.
So we want to do a motion on that, we clean up our accounts and
Well-
limit the access to all the funds?
I think
Are we going
first we
to
need to
make?
investigate.
Yeah, I would like to see who's on, I
Thought we were gonna
mean, with this
investigate.
is just me talking to someone, we just have to request the bank to give us letterhead on who's on the accounts
And I did that already.
and the CD, that's the big one, who's on the CD, 'cause I don't even know if any of us are. So, I would think we need to investigate, yeah.
Jordan said I just need it on letterhead, so I've already sent her a letterhead with that information. I'm just waiting to hear back from her.
But my question is, how are we gonna investigate, who are we gonna get to investigate?
What do you mean? I
I
think we
can
can
go, I
investigate.
can look back and forth and
Yeah.
with Brittney and check and make sure that everything's accounted for. And with the books being not reconciled, it's gonna be difficult, but have you heard anything on that?
I have to get back with her because Tara was gone on vacation, and she can't go until Tara comes back, so I have to touch base with her.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know online, but I know once you print it and then the bank, I know how to do that. And then checking, I know you have done everything in a PO list, so that's good. So it shouldn't be too hard to find something that shouldn't be there.
So with the payment on, since we're talking the bank accounts, the QuickBook of the utility side that you said you had the items that you would remove and put back on, there is an auto reconciliation feature in QuickBooks that you can turn off that is on by default, that then will go through, and when it doesn't see something in QuickBooks that it sees on the bank account, it will put it back on. As far as the duplicate statements, when you put a new entry into QuickBooks, do you hit the add button to like, put a new
I
expense
do
down?
save and whatever. It's like save.
Do you put it in as like a, do you, as an
But
added
see,
expense?
the things that are being doubled are the ones that are pulling it off of the bank statement. It's
I know.
not even ones that I entered.
I know. So when you go in, you say, we went to go get the fans the other day from Atwoods. When you go to enter that into QuickBooks, do you actually go in there and physically add it in?
Yes.
Do you click the add button when you do it?
I believe so, yes.
Try clicking the match button instead of add.
Okay, yeah.
Because then what I found out so far is it's possible that QuickBooks is going through, seeing that entry, saying these vendors don't match what we have in there, so this must not be a correct statement, so I'm going to put the money right back in,
Okay.
because it wasn't taken out of the bank that way.
Okay.
Whereas if we match, we can actually line it up with an existing line item on the bank accounts, and hopefully that will keep it from then duplicating.
Okay.
Or I could be completely wrong too.
I can check and see what.
Well, I remember also, like, our accounts, her accounts and my accounts don't match. Like, I don't know who set up my stuff, but I mean, it's nothing like hers. So I don't know if that's gonna play a difference.
That I don't know, but
I mean, I think they should just be the same, like, same accounts, you know?
as
I
far
don't
as
know.
like the same, like checking accounts?
No, like when we're putting things in QuickBooks, so the stuff I might put in an expense that is totally different. It's called
Are you
something.
talking about the categories?
Yeah, the categories.
Yeah, his out there.
They're crazy. I mean,
I think those are ones that we control.
Yeah.
yeah, we do.
And then you allocate what type of tax or all that.
So I mean, if you need other categories to put them in.
Well, even the categories that he has is all messed up.
Yeah, they're just.
And it's not the class. It's not the class that it goes to. It's like the categories. It's like it's not like even when he reimbursed me back on certain things, like in order for them to like properly be reconciled, we have to put them in the same class, same category, so that they reconcile each other out. We can't do that.
Can't do it.
Because
They're not
his is
the
screwed
same.
up. And we can't get rid of tabs because of all the other things in the past that is categorized on them. Yeah. So even that needs cleaned up.
What we're gonna do with that number 8?
No action for now until we.
Number 9.
You mean number
Number
9?
nine.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9.
Well, the action was, she's already in the process of sending, but
I'll put that on the next.
So was it
agenda.
getting the names of who's on each account? Is that the report?
Don't forget to tell Bank Me 4th, I'm not here anymore.
Okay.
Item number 10, consideration, discussion, action on Payne County Bank loan update.
I talked to Brent. He said that he's pulling everything together and he's gonna like write everything up, but he needs something for collateral. I asked him if the truck title, because it's all paid off, if the truck title would be okay. He said that would be fine if that's what the board wants to use, but he has to have the minutes. And with that being said, I was not around when the truck was bought. It was bought like a couple years before I started. I was around when it got paid off. I have the lien release. I have no idea where the title is. I have every title to every vehicle that we've had except for the police truck. Prickett is the one that orchestrated all that. I'm not pushing blame on that. I cannot find the title.
It'll only cost you.
And it was before the law changed to where like the bank would hold the title, obviously.
25, what,
Yeah.
about $50
Is it like
now you're
$10
replacing-
now?
$25, I think.
Yeah,
So
$25.
that's what I was
Request
looking
the
at, that we
lost
have to
title.
file for lost title.
Yep.
Just request a lost title and get it on.
So do I need to, motion to request the lost title and
It was for,
use up?
was it 30?
I move that we request a lost title from the state for the police truck, and that we use the police truck as collateral for the loan to fix the Grant Street issue and other utility issues.
I'll second.
Richard, yes.
James, yes.
And John has been in contact with the contractor to let him know that like, that we're gonna move forward, we're just waiting on money. He said just keep him updated.
Are we gonna go with the original amount or the adjusted up amount?
He said that if we need to adjust it up, we would have to have, minutes on that. But when we're doing the calculations, it's only like $1,000. And that's something that the
Yeah,
sheriff
we can-
department.
we can-
Well,
we can have
and
that.
that's why I messaged you back. I said, I'd rather, as much as I hate the idea of having to borrow the money, I'd rather adjust it up and have some money to sit on. Because then if we don't use it, we can always turn around and give it back and knock the loan down. Then to run up, and then we run into something and go, well, crap, now, instead of us paying $1,000, we're in the hole for $2,000 because they found something else.
Well, the change orders are gonna be tricky with those.
So I'd rather
You're gonna have
adjust
to
it
stay on
up and
top
have
of it.
extra to set on, and then if we don't need it, we can
That
give
is
it
a
back.
board decision, no?
I never thought it's a good idea to pay interest on money that we may or may not need to use. Cause that interest rate is rolled into the total amount, so even if you give the money back, then there's still a chance you're gonna be paying a little bit more on the extra money that you borrowed. I've always been a big
But then-
proponent of
but then
borrowing
you
just
don't-
what you need.
But then if you don't have anything between now and the end of the budget to cover it, if you spend it all and then you go, over, what are we gonna do?
I think you could make that argument with anything, that any project we try to do could go over and we might not have money for it, so I feel that's a little bit of an analysis paralysis argument.
If you knock that difference down before 30 days, you're not paying interest on that difference.
It depends on how the loan's written.
Yeah, that's great.
But I've never, would never pay interest on
I
money.
mean,
that
under
we don't
normal
use.
circumstances, I would agree with you. It's just my concern is that if we only have so much in reserve to begin with, and we go in there and then we overrun, and then we have something else come along on top of that, we don't have anything to fall on.
Yeah.
Pancake supper.
I mean, we got quotes, so
We can do-
we went up a little bit after the quotes, didn't we? So,
Probably like 1,000, wasn't it?
What was that?
Yeah.
What it went up after the quotes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's,
I mean, it's all gonna be verbal at the moment, and that's where we're gonna struggle when we're working with contractors, is if they wanted to make a change order, it has to go through the board.
Well, at that point, we
It's
can
gonna
always
be-
go back to the bank and we can ask for an extension on the loan because of, it's stuff.
Well, I mean, as long as they, if it's something outside that quote they gave us, then yeah, they have to ask for more.
Mhm.
But if it's in that quote, we'll just suck it up.
Right, that's how it works, yeah.
And the longer we wait, the
More.
More
more it
probably
could
to
cost us,
Yeah.
because the prices of stuff could go up, or,
Or just DEQ gets tired of
Did
it.
he have this quote is for 90 days? Did he put it? I don't remember. I don't have
He
it.
didn't, he didn't put a date on it.
Well,
my
we talked
preference
about
would be to
last
take
meeting,
the
let's do
lower
it.
amount, but my concern is if we only have so much in reserve to cover another emergency after the fact, and we blow it all on this,
Well, it's all gotta go toward this. It's for,
I know, but I mean, we've got several months before the next budget comes around, and if we empty the coffers, if something happens on this that causes us to empty the coffers, we have nothing else for a subsequent emergency that comes up.
Well,
But we
that's-
can't,
That's life, so.
we can't take a loan out for project X and then just
We don't
take out
need to-
extra and use it
yeah.
on other
We just have to
projects.
cross those
No,
bridges
I'm
when we
saying
get
clear
there.
that
I mean,
and
that's
set
why we
on
have to
the other.
budget.
Yeah.
I mean, emergencies are gonna happen and we make those decisions when we get to them.
I mean, so I made the motion,
So we all,
Yeah,
we all
I
fully
second.
agree.
Jim
I
seconded,
second.
Yeah, we all.
to use the title.
to get the lost title and to use the police truck as collateral for the loan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nathan actually seconded it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know-
Yeah, that
I
was
know- I
just
know
my
someone-
concern on that
James,
amount.
That was just,
Yeah, it was just.
Okay, so then we move on.
Chairman,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Heather, yes.
Richard, yes.
Need us to sign? Okay, okay.
What are your week looking like?
So, were you here when then,
I think maybe.
I'll have to wait till I go back in. So eventually, yeah, just.
Oh, okay.
That's my phone filing.
Identify some things you might need them.
Absolutely, like addresses or,
I'll just
If
shoot you
you
back.
can give me addresses, I can handle those
Sure, I am the
if
other
we
guy.
can
or
get those.
what do you want?
Oh, I don't have my
That's what you wanna do, or do you want a couple of us
I
to
would
take them
check
and hand them
that
out?
email in a
Because
couple
we
of
have, I mean, it's up to you, we can give you addresses. Did y'all hear what he said? That he's got box stands to hand out.
There, no, just you, and then she's gonna sign them.
Jenna, what is your legal
I'm
name?
gonna have you sign multiple copies, so I've got copies for everybody.
On this right here, do you need her legal name? 'Cause
Yes.
that is not her legal name.
My legal
The
last name.
last name is Taylor.
Okay.
Thanks to my wonderful foot injury last year.
That's my bad.
So-
I was the one that did.
That's okay. It is going to be.
Can I have a loan on that?
I just need to find where the social security offices in Stillwater and.
Well, I just saw you weren't on there, so you had the spelling and I.
No, that's okay.
That sounds like my luck. I got to the doctor today. I wasn't planning on it.
What I'm actually
Sorry,
doing
guys,
is
hold on.
working, is
Two
I
more
need to call
sets
the
of these.
Secretary of State about just getting